Welcome back. Here we are. Wait, is this the intro? Yeah, let's do it. Anyway, LinkedIn Logs, episode 2. My journey to becoming a LinkedIn influencer, as I've dubbed it. My name is Chad White. I'm your host. This is on the Imprint C Plus Comedy, the website portfolio that Chad has, which is me. I'm me. Listen, I thought that I could get a job like that as soon as I was laid off from one job and then I was laid off from another job. I thought, hey, jobs are easy to get. They're not, and people need to understand that. I am here to show. Jesus, I just realized how low this audio has been. It's ridiculous. I've been again, as the kids say, on my grind, applying to upwards of hundreds of jobs. Some I'm qualified for, some I'm not qualified for. The timer's off the side. I have to keep track of where I am in relation to how I'm doing this. And you know what? I'm sick of applying to jobs. I'm so friggin' PO'd. From now on, I'm going to put all of my energy towards being a linked influencer. What do I call it? Yeah, linked influencer. From this point forward. And the way that an influencer starts and begins is with insincere posts on their social platforms that make them seem sincere. And this is that first post. Episode 2, LinkedIn Logs. If you listen to the first one, I don't care. If you did, I don't care. Still. And what am I going to do with this, technically the second episode, but I'm going to call it the first because I don't know what I was doing the first time. Happy Black History Month, by the way. just realized that. I am going to tell my story. I just kicked the desk. I'm going to tell my story about my journey inside this industry we call showbiz. Here we go. Do I start at the beginning? Or do I start with the latest position? Oh, let's start at the beginning. You know, I was thinking we should be able. I always see people subtweet, as the only way I know it, or passive aggressively talk about a previous employer. We should be able to talk poorly about previous employers, because you know you go on Glassdoor, which is another episode that I'll do. Oh, you go on Glassdoor, and you see, this job has been, or this company's been rated a 7. Or what do they do out of stars? I think they do out of stars. Let me double check that. I don't have Glassdoor saved under my whatchamacallit, favorites to go there now. Okay, so you see companies are really, yeah, they're rated out of stars, and one company's got 3.8. I won't say which one, but I have worked there. That's a little low for them. And another company has 4.3 stars. For one thing, I don't like it when movies and TV shows are rated out of stars, and I just think it's all objective and how your experience is. But I think we should be able to talk about how bad a company is or how good a company is. And if we can talk about how good a company is, we should be able to talk about how bad one is too. Case in point, I will not be talking about what jobs I hated the most. 11 Alive. And Bounce TV. Scripts. And you know, there are jobs I really love. Warner Media, Warner Bros. Discovery, that was a great job. And then there are other ones I hated. And I'm not going to mention those companies, EW Scripts, because that would be rude. It would be rude to do so, 11 Alive. And so let's continue. Let's talk about the very first things. Let's start at the beginning. When I decided I was a child, when I wanted to be when I decided I wanted to be a writer, and I didn't know what writing was. I thought books and TV shows and movies were all the same. And so I wrote a book. I wrote two books when I was a kid, and I was just describing this to somebody. It's about a bunch of young kids teaming up with a bunch of old women to save the world. It's not very good. In in fact, I remember in fourth grade, I showed the not fourth grade, sixth, yes, sixth grade. I showed the book to a teacher, to an English teacher, and she roasted me for it. Not a joke. It's a very serious thing. Just destroyed me. I remember one thing she said. Because first of all, she's the one who told me to bring him in. But I remember one thing she said. She said, "I never heard of a book." Again, I wrote this maybe a year prior, 2 years prior at most. But she said, "I've never heard of a book that was 30 pages long, handwritten by a child." She made me cry. I'll show her Miss Wentworth. I think that was her name. Annie Hoosers, because I can see her face right now. Wrote a book. Also wrote 400 plus comics, and I stopped those a long time ago. But I still do love those comics. Now I'll start with my first job. This job came, Jesus, my sophomore or junior year, according to my resume. 13, 14, 15. My sophomore year, excuse me. I wasn't in school for more than 4 years. I finished on time, baby. I was in college for marketing my first semester, and then I said, I saw how many math classes I would have to take, and I went, "No, thank you." Why do they make you take math? Like, I shouldn't have to take statistics. Don't say statistics is easy. Statistics is easy. It's not easy. It's not. It's hard. I'm bad at math. I'm just bad. So just look at my bank account. It's a joke I tell to let's say 100 people per week. Kidding. And I changed it to writing, and that was easy enough. Just go to a counselor and be like, "Hey, I want to change it." They're like, "You sure you want to do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, baby, I sure want to do this." I call everybody baby, don't worry. It's the first job. I was writing for a web. Okay, the company, this is very hard to explain. The company sold phone books to elderly people based in Chattanooga, where I went to school. Companies sold a phone book to older people, to companies that still, for some reason, use the phone book. This is 2013 to 2015. The company existed prior to 2013. So at some point they were thriving, and then at one point they were just getting by. I know they were getting by because they only pay me $8 an hour. So it was this. No. I think it was like 10. But this is one. I had like 5 jobs in college, and I'll get to that at some point. God forbid I get this longer freaking LinkedIn logs. But the job entailed, like, they were okay. So another part of the business was they had 2 guys working to build websites for companies. So they would sell the phone books, but they would also make the phone books. So they would make the yellow pages, and they would make the websites for these companies. It was essentially marketing that the companies would, like, they would also be inside the phone book. So it was that's how the job was. And I was writing content for those websites. I hate the word content. You'll never hear me say that often. So that job was Green Pages Interactive. The company doesn't exist anymore. And I just called myself a senior editor. Senior editor making $10 an hour. Where I would just write news stuff for their platforms. I wrote, I don't know, I probably shouldn't tell this story. One time I wrote a story that was it was mostly jokes. It was very funny for a website, and people got so mad because it was a lot of dark jokes, but and that's as far as I'll get into that. But that was a job. I did that for 2 years, and it was good. It was fun. It was out of the city, actually. I think, yeah, because it was in Chattanooga, but it was like, I was when I was living on campus, I had to drive like 20 minutes away sometimes. Anyway, And I was also a marketing associate for our gym, the Aquatic Recreation Center at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, for their intramural program. I would help out for produce some videos for them, write some videos, directed the videos. So I did it. I wrote, directed, and produced the videos. No big deal. The most talented person there is. My next job after that, I graduated. So, picture this: graduated college, lived at home, had $0 to my. I went from having 5 jobs to no jobs. Actually, prior to that, I was on a dating show on the very network that I would work their local news on. I was on a dating show. It was 3 days of work, and I was paid handsomely, baby. I was paid handsomely. See, I call everybody baby. For 11 Alive, I was hired to work on their help desk. And that was an interesting position because it required me to talk to the morons who call in news stories. I just saw a tractor on Highway 9. It was making a wrong turn. I'm kidding. But eventually, they were redoing the newsroom, like right when I got there. And the help desk, which was, and it was so stupid because it was like up against a wall and it was higher than everybody. And it was like, I would say like 2 feet higher than everybody. So you'd be like sitting up here and then people like come up and like try to talk to you. You're like looking down at them. Kind of like how, like a librarian in a New York public library would sit. I assume I've never been in New York. No one's ever paid me enough so I could travel, which is very true. And even when I had full-time benefits, I never had like full-time job and benefits. I was never paid enough to be able to travel. So I was. They were sitting up like this, and it was like 3 seats up there, and you would work next to a person who basically you guys would just, I don't know, direct reporters to where to go for stories and everything, and be like the liaison for producers and stuff. Eventually, my position was eliminated because when they redid the newsroom, there was, I'm not kidding, not a seat for me at the table. That is, it sounds like, that's like when people are like, I'd have a seat at the table. There was not a seat for me at this table. So I took it upon myself for the following year to become a digital producer, write things for, which I was already technically doing, but I decided, yeah, I'm going to, no one's ever said anything. So I'm going to start writing things for the digital side. I started asking for broadcast stuff. And let me tell you about local news. Nobody wants to help you. Unless you went to their college, UGA, in this example. Nobody wants to help you. It's very true. And then eventually I just became the Swiss Army knife of a person, volunteering to work on holidays, which I was glad to do, overnights for holidays and all that stuff. And they would eventually lay me off, and I hate them forever. But I did help out with some specials for broadcasts, things that would eventually go and win, I guess, News Emmy Awards, which don't count. They're not Emmys. It takes 8 News Emmys to equal 4 Sports Emmys to equal 2 daytime Emmys, which equals 1 regular primetime Emmy. That's the math. That I didn't set the rules. Anyway, but before 11 Alive, I didn't just leave college and then have a job like 99.9% of people on LinkedIn. And it's really funny. I see people on LinkedIn. I see children complain about not having jobs after you graduate college. And I see it on Nextdoor too. Like people are like, I got my nursing degree, or like I got like my lawyer degree or whatever, business degree, where people get. And they complain like, I've been applying to jobs for 2 straight weeks and I haven't gotten any. I'm going to tell you, it took me over a year to get someone to even look at me, and I always get it by complete accident. Every time I want something, I never get it. Every time I'm not even looking for it, I always get it. And it's so stupid. It's just ridiculous how someone comes to LinkedIn and they've got 0 seconds of experience, and then they complain and whine about it, and then eventually within 1 second they get something. Anyway, and I made a lot of videos. I have for 11 Alive. Two of the things I did that I am most proud of there were video series. One was a Christmas series where I shot 13 videos worth of what's it called? Of Christmas themed episodes for the website, and then in February of my last year, I think, I shot one video a day and wrote one article a day, so 2 separate things for Black History Month. It's called, you can watch that on the portfolio, youtube.com/Chad White, I think, or Chad C. White, one of those. And all the while, when I was in college, and during this job, I started C Plus Comedy, and C Plus Comedy is already going, but I've been doing it, and so I've been getting interviews and with comedians and people of that nature, and doing what I need to do for work and for pleasure. So that's what I did for 11 Alive, and I did other stuff too there. I helped out with the AJC Peachtree Road Race coverage. I helped out coverages for those years I was there. I helped out with other stuff I can't seem to remember. All right. So after that, odd jobs here and there. But the next thing on my resume, because the odd jobs don't count. You might have heard my sous vide has finished. My sous vide cook. I also I went to the Weather Channel. I was an associate producer, and that's where I honed my craft for broadcast, where I was basically cutting video for broadcast, and that was great. With the exception, and that was another job where I was like, hey, you guys need me to work on Christmas? I'll work Christmas. You need me to work Thanksgiving? I'll work Thanksgiving. People only seem to, or jobs rather, they only seem to remember the good parts when they're the good parts. And then when you make one mistake, they say, we're not going to renew your contract, Weather Channel, 11 Alive. And I verified Daily Show rundowns for accuracy and precision. In fact, actually, you know what? I was reunited with a couple of people who used to work at 11 Alive, which is so strange to see, like, because you never expect to see like having like, oh, this person's here and they're an anchor here now and all that stuff. You know what? I do remember one particular thing. Actually, I have 2 particular things. One particular thing, first day one, literally walked into the office 4 a.m. for their morning broadcasts. Jim Cantor, one of the nicest people I've ever met. We were in a morning meeting, standing in the hallway. There's, let's say, like 20 people just standing there. They're like getting ready for the show, for the broadcast that's coming on in a couple of minutes. And Jim Cantor sees me, and he just looks, and he goes, "Hey, you're new here. What's up?" My name's Jim Cantor. I was like, "Oh my God, that was so nice." Second story was there were 2 people at that job, particularly very rude to me, and I hate them with all of my heart, and and that's what pushes me to get to that stage and go, "Look at me, I won." Also at 11 Alive, there were a bunch of anchors and a bunch of reporters and the weather people. Just every media personality was very nice. I'm friends with a lot of those people to this day. I just hate the management with a passion. The next, is this gonna go on LinkedIn? The next one is I got an email about my taxes. Everything is coming up, Chad. Next job after that was with the Bounce TV, which would eventually, when I was hired, during that process, they were being purchased by the EW Scripps Company, both companies I hate with my heart. And I was a post-production coordinator where I would watch their shows and movies and things like that, make sure they're set up for standards and practices, make sure that all FCC requests were set, ready to go, make sure everything was followed by the rules, make sure the editing was done, just coordinate with people, with editors rather, and look at daily production reports and all that. And that was my first salary position, and it was fine. And in particular, that job was more bland than the other two because I came from news. That's not to say I didn't take anything away from it, but it was definitely a departure from what I had previously done. And the way I'd gotten that job was I was working at Starbucks at the CNN Center in Atlanta, here in Atlanta rather. And if you want to be humbled, work a food service job. I've done retail, I've done food service, I've done gig, I've done literally every job under the sun. Blue collar, white collar, no collar. I've done everything. And but no collar, I was a stripper. And that was close to it. Close enough. I remember that. God, that it stunk. But I got a phone call, and you're not supposed to have your phone on the Starbucks floor. But also, I'm an adult, and I don't like to being told what to do. And I got that call, and there had been a rush of like a field trip or something, and then I was like, all right, I'll go see what this is. Probably like another bill collector. Because, baby, I'm bad at math. I got in that call, and I went behind. If you've ever been to CNN Center, the Starbucks is literally in the middle of this giant atrium. And now it's not going to be CNN Center anymore because Warner Bros. Discovery sold it off. Rightly so. They should have moved over to Techwood a long time ago. But it's right in the middle of the floor. So I left the register after the rush. And I pretended to go get cups that are right behind the kiosk. And I bent down. I was like, hello? Because again, you're not supposed to have your phone on the floor. Hello, how can I help you? And then I remember the gentleman that hired me, Duncan, very nice guy. And he was like, we want to do an interview. I went, great, anytime, please. You know what? Actually, before I got the Warner Bros. Job, I was working at a cleaners or dry cleaners, and not like a good dry cleaners, like a neighborhood dry cleaners where windows were cracked and doors were broken, and it was a whole messy situation. And I remember getting that phone call. Oh man, I was so excited. At the time they were on a hiring spree, so I was lucky to get in there. And that was good. And then most recently, I was just at Warner Bros. Discovery, where I was a producer for the kids, young adults, and children. And that was the job of a lifetime. And I hope that my lifetime is not over. Jesus Christ. Where I would just track deadlines and deliveries of key art, trailers, and other assets. Literally reading off what it was. It was great. That was it. I have nothing negative to say about that position. Unlike the first three. Unlike the three previous before that, I have nothing negative to say about Warner Bros. Discovery because I enjoyed it, with the exception of some other things. Anyway, and that's my main history, with the exception of C Plus Comedy, which is a website I've been running for 9 years and 7 months. It'll be 10 years in August. That'll be 10 years. And for the first year, I wasn't even doing interviews. And then one day I just got an email that said, hey, Chad, would you like to talk to Jeff Tate or Dan St. Germain? Excuse me. No, both of them. Anyway, I talked to those two guys in the first year. And they were comedians that I had seen before. And I said, why not? And here we are. 9 years and 7 months later, I was still talking to that level of comedian. And also, Craig Ferguson, SNL stars, Bobby Moynihan, people of that nature. You can see all of that in my reel, which is live on youtube.com/C+/ Chad White, not C plus Chad White, plus Chad White. I don't know. Who cares? I'm sorry my story is not as sad as an influencer's. Because sometimes you like pull up Instagram or like YouTube and somebody's like, I killed 3 deer to get into my life. I had Hodgkin's lymphoma as soon as I came out the womb. I swallowed 8 marbles yesterday. I'm going to be the world's best LinkedIn influencer. Excuse me. I'm going to be the number one LinkedIn influencer anybody's ever seen in this entire world. Producer, writer, LinkedIn influencer. What else is going on? What else? I got to let this go at least 30 minutes. I haven't realized I've been longer been talking. What else about me? I work out. I work out a lot. 5-6 days a week, sometimes 5 days a week, 6 days a week, from 4:30 a.m. until 8 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. Depends on what I'm doing and who I'm talking to sometimes. But you know what? I think I'm not think. I know I'm the best candidate for whatever job is out there. I'm gonna be the best worker you've ever had. You'll see. You'll see, boys. That's from Rent. Did I forget to tell you I'm educated? I see plays. What's the last play I saw? Mean Girls? Mm-hmm. Saw the musical adaptation of Mean Girls. I'll be seeing Bruce Springsteen this Friday in Atlanta, Georgia, barring my death. God, I hope not. I paid a lot for this ticket. Oh my gosh. I'm open to work. I'm hashtag open to work, as my profile says on the photo. Hashtag open to work, baby. Tagline says probably the best choice of all the choices. It's so funny. Like, people take LinkedIn so serious. I think LinkedIn is the most fake social media platform ever. It is insane how like ungodly these people drink the Kool-Aid of LinkedIn. It's insane. It's so bad. It's so stupid. I think it's worse than TikTok. It's worse than Instagram. It's worse than all of those. It's and we should be able to have fun. I should be able to come on here and talk about a job and not be specific about how much I dislike the people in charge, EW Scripts. The reason why I don't like Scripts and my manager, not Duncan, the person that I eventually ended up working under after the acquisition, was because a week before me getting laid off, like this is during the this is after the height. Like I was one of 5 people going in. I did everything readily, and we had peaks and then valleys and all that stuff. But this is after people started coming in and things. And manager at the time, we did like our yearly reviews or whatever. Not yearly reviews, but like what we wanted. It was after the yearly review, so it was like in January, and what you expect from the following year, from the next year. And we did mine, and then and I asked for a pay raise, and then because no one else was coming in but me and like 2 and 3 other people. Not even the managers were coming in. Like, it was just me and like 2 executives, and that was it. And I looked her in the eye over the video camera, and I was like, hey, everybody's working from home. They get stipends for, internet stuff. And I'm just, after taxes, I'm making, less than 35,000 or something like that. And, or I did the math, and I think it was like 29 or something like that. And she goes, with just immediate answer. We'll see what no and no emotion. We'll see what we can do. Blah, blah, and just like just gave me just like a 3-second spiel. And then I knew the company was doing well because they kept bragging to us about it. Because the guy who sold the company got tens of millions of dollars. Because she just got a pay boost and a new promotion to a new job. Anyway, and then within I had that meeting on like a Thursday or something, and then by Monday she goes, "Hey, we're laying you off." And I was one of 3 people who were laid off, which is ridiculous. So I dislike that company, dislike the people there, the people in charge. And her, I'm going to thank her in my speech for fueling my rage. That's not a joke. Thank you for listening to the LinkedIn logs. You can, if you like this, and if you listen to audio, then go watch the video, cpluscomedy.com, youtube.com/cpluscomedy. If you want to see me sitting here, I just put a pullover over my the white shirt I was wearing. Let's see. If you want to see listen to other podcasts and see them, Constitutionals is our premier podcast for the website. It's entertainment, business, news, but in long form, and I talk about it. And a new show coming out called, I don't know, This Week in Late Night. I forgot what it was called. Yeah, This Week in Late Night. It's the late night show. That's This Week in Late Night, the late night show. That's what that is. I chose to go with 2 titles. And that'll be a video form too. So if you want to listen to it, search for those on wherever you get podcasts. And if you want to watch it, youtube.com/cpluscomedy. Head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where all this stuff lives alongside News Time, which is our premier news show. It's like the Daily Show, but it's worse. And then if you want to hire me, hit me up on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/n/Chad-C-White. That is me. You can see me sitting there with my hashtag open to work picture and my banner that says Chad White, producer, writer, very cool guy. And my reel. You can see my reel at, Jesus, good Lord. Let me find this so I can stop giving the wrong URL. You can find the reel at youtube.com/ChadBlackWhite. There you go. Easy enough. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. C Plus Comedy. And yeah, that's it. That's the end of this. What is this called? LinkedIn logs. I have 3 shows. Okay. I forgot. There's no theme song. I'm teeing up a theme song, and there's no theme song. Well, I guess we'll peter out to. I got an idea. We will peter out to one of the greatest songs in the history of the world. It is the one song that everybody loves. Here we go. Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling, toss salads and scrambled eggs. This is so stupid. Hey baby, I seem a bit confused. Yeah, maybe. I don't know what to do with myself. All right. Thanks for listening. Next time I'll plug it up to the computer so we can hear it. Okay. Bye.